Some 60 Israeli Air Force fighter jets carried out a wave of strikes in central Iran this evening, IDF Spokesman Brig General Effie Defrin says in a press conference. He says that as part of the strikes, IAF jets destroyed 3 more Iranian F-14 fighter jets on the ground. Last week, Israeli strikes in Tehran destroyed 2 F-14s. The US-made F-14 Tomcats were supplied to Iran before the 1979 Islamic Revolution and are believed to be the last ones still in operation. The operation, part of Israel's ongoing Operation Rising Lion, marks a significant escalation in Israel's campaign to dismantle Iran's military capabilities amid a week of intense hostilities. Footage released by the IDF shows the US-made F-14s, acquired by Iran before the 1979 Islamic Revolution, being obliterated on the ground, likely at an airbase near Isfahan, a key military hub. The destruction of these iconic jets, which Iran has struggled to maintain due to decades of US sanctions, carries both strategic and symbolic weight. The Iranian missile launch capabilities today are far below what they were when we launched the operation, Defrin stated, highlighting the IDF's success in degrading Iran's retaliatory capacity. The F-14 strike is the second targeting of Iran's aging air force this month. On June 16, 2 F-14s were destroyed at Tehran's Mehrabad International Airport, where they were parked outside hardened shelters. Defense analysts note that many of Iran's remaining F-14s are non-operational due to maintenance challenges, but their destruction underscores Israel's ability to conduct deep strikes with precision. The Israeli Air Force bombed 2 Iranian F-5 fighter jets at Desfal Airport in Iran a short while ago, the military says. Additionally, strikes this morning destroyed 8 ballistic missile launchers, including 6 that were primed for an immediate attack on Israel, the IDF says. The military says that strikes last night carried out by 20 fighter jets in central Iran hit dozens of Iranian military targets. The targets included a military site containing components for the production of explosives, sites for the storage and production of weapons, and Iranian air defense systems, along with military infrastructure at Isfahan Airport, to prevent the Iranian Air Force from using the site's military facilities, the IDF says. The strike follows a week of relentless Israeli operations targeting Iran's nuclear facilities, air defenses, and military assets. Since June 13, the IDF has struck over 100 targets in Iran, including missile storage sites, command centers, and launchers, destroying approximately 120 surface-to-surface missile launchers, about a third of Iran's long-range ballistic missile arsenal. The IDF also reported neutralizing 950 explosive drones in Iran before they could be launched, a feat Defrin called an unprecedented achievement.
There are interesting updates from the Middle East. Here, in a war Tehran once promised would reshape the region, the only thing reshaped is Iran's own military, flattened, blinded, and humiliated in a matter of days. With both its offensive and defensive capabilities shattered beyond repair, Iran now scrambles not for victory, but for a way out. Euromaidan Press media outlet says, recall in the opening hours of the Israeli operation against Iran, it became immediately clear that Iran's air defense network was utterly insufficient to repel an attack from a modern and well-prepared adversary. Already weakened by previous Israeli strikes, Iranian air defenses were systematically dismantled in a series of swift, precision attacks spearheaded by Israeli F-35 stealth fighters. Iran's regime claimed to have downed 4 such jets, yet the evidence provided was quickly debunked as embarrassingly obvious Photoshop manipulations. In reality, Israeli aircraft rapidly dominated Western Iranian airspace, freely operating even over Tehran itself, an unprecedented humiliation Euromaidan Press recalls. The Iranian Air Force was also quickly neutralized, with Israeli planes striking Iranian jets directly on their runways and systematically targeting radar installations, leaving Iran's Air Force unable to respond or put up resistance against Israeli air power. Following this crippling operation, Iran attempted to retaliate with ballistic missiles. While several of them managed to penetrate Israeli defenses, Iran claimed they launched hundreds, indicating that most Iranian ballistic missiles were intercepted before they could hit their targets. On the second day of the operation, Israeli aircraft rapidly identified and destroyed approximately one-third of Iran's missile launchers, dramatically reducing the volume of subsequent missile attacks. Further worsening Iran's trouble, Israel took swift and decisive action to neutralize Iran's vaunted underground missile stockpiles. Although Iran frequently showcased these missiles in highly symbolic videos intended to intimidate opponents, Israel simply destroyed the entrances to these bunker complexes, Euromaidan Press reports. Consequently, despite the vast stores of missiles presumably remaining intact underground, Iran now lacks timely access to these weapons, rendering them irrelevant to the current conflict. Iran's widely touted Shahed drones, famous for their use by Russia against Ukraine, proved astonishingly ineffective against Israeli defenses. The Israeli operation also delivered a devastating blow to Iranian military leadership. Over 20 high-ranking commanders, including senior officers of the Iranian Armed Forces and the elite Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, were killed within the first hours. Euromaidan Press says. Israel then meticulously targeted and eliminated their replacements as soon as they were appointed, paralyzing Iran's ability to respond effectively. Facing catastrophic losses and a rapidly deteriorating strategic position, Iran's regime quickly spiraled into panic mode. Tehran's statements that they are ready to stop the attacks after Israel stops indicate not just willingness, but a call to resume negotiations proposing a mutual ceasefire. Simultaneously, Iranian leadership, including the Ayatollah himself, is reported to be seeking refuge in Russia, echoing Bashar al-Assad's similar requests during the Syrian regime's collapse.